couple of minutes ago. Still waiting to see what the ground crew, what the umpires want to do in preparation for the start of tonight's game. There is on the radar there are some clouds, some dark clouds, and some activity just south of the ballpark that look like they're headed this way. So we got to wait and see how that's going to play out. As you see the other two umpires, that's Chris Guccione and Scott Berry, also waiting with us as they check the skies. Braves come home though, John, and they're playing pretty good baseball at home. Real good baseball. 13-6 at Turner Field, and after playing so well on the road, they've won 7 of their last 9 on the road, and we all know that was a minefield for them early in the season. They got to feel good about coming home under those circumstances.
Well, they do, and we talked about the different blocks of scheduling they had to go through, and in the first part of the year, they went through some tough teams, some hot teams. Those teams have changed since they went through those teams, but they played majority of the game on the road. They came home. We talked about the last homestand. This is the spot where you've got to make ground, and they did it. And they're getting ready to head into a tough schedule again. So whenever you face schedules, players look at schedules and they go, oh, okay, this is a rough spot. And in their minds, you kind of play out, oh, if we go 500 here, if we can play 500 on the road, you try to position your team in a place where you think realistically it can be. And right now, no one could have dreamed since a 9-game losing streak that they'd be in a 1.5 game behind the Philadelphia Phillies. With all the things that have happened to the Atlanta Braves, with the injuries, the lack of production, they're in a good spot. And for tonight and these 3 games, I'm glad that the starters, right now, it's not currently raining as hard. I'm glad they didn't go out there because you can preserve. The Braves have to preserve their starting pitcher tonight. They can't lose another one. They lost Tim Hudson after 4 innings. And these kind of things, as they play out, every team has to deal with them. I think the important thing for the Braves is get through this weekend. Don't overlook the Pittsburgh Pirates, and really be charged up to play Philadelphia at a different place that they were the last time they played Philadelphia. And hopefully, going into this All-Star break, the Braves can be in a nice position to be playing for something. That's what every player wants to do as you get through the All-Star break.
Well, this looks like a good sign. Ed Mangan out on the field, helping roll up the tarps at recovering home plate and the pitcher's mound. And it looks like the big tarp will not be needed. So it looks like we're just a few minutes away from first pitch. Some other games that are going on around the National League and baseball. Cardinals on top of the Cubs, beat them 7-1. Ryan Ludwig with a big day. Cincinnati continues to play good baseball, John. We saw them come in here hot, but the Braves cooled them off quite a bit, especially that huge win on the getaway day before the road trip. And we also know that the Philadelphia Phillies just got on the scoreboard. They finally dented the board down in Florida. They're trailing 2-1 in the 4th. John Russell, the manager of the Pirates, out with his lineup. Here comes Brian Snitker with Bobby Cox's lineup. Some American League scores in the 6th. The Yankees lead Cleveland. Nick Swisher hit one in the upper deck for his home run tonight. And Oakland over Detroit 3-3. Dontrell Willis getting knocked around a bit again tonight for the Tigers. Also, Toronto over Baltimore 3-0. That Toronto club's got some good arms on it, doesn't it?
It's been amazing to watch their progress this year when nobody, after losing Halladay, nobody thought they'd do much.
And the White Sox beating Tampa Bay at Tampa Bay 3-2. Red Sox went in there and won a series against the Rays, and now the White Sox going to try to do the same thing. Derek Lowe's your scheduled starter. He's already warmed up. He's just waiting for the go-ahead to take the field, and we're not too far from that. The Braves enter play tonight, 25-22. They're in second place, as we've told you, a game and a half back of the Phillies. The Pirates have lost 3 out of 4 and 6 out of 8. Come in with a record of 20-28. They're in 4th place in the Central, 8 games back of the Cincinnati Reds. And the Braves took 2 out of 3 from them just over the weekend, as Omar Infante gives the signs to David Ross.
It's hard to believe that the Pittsburgh Pirates, you look at that 20-28 record and you go, well, they're not having a good year. Well, if you look at the fact that they've been outscored 278-158,
yeah,
that's pretty good record if you're going to get outscored 120 runs. And certainly the Braves would like to add to that total as they play. And many people also don't realize Braves got back in the wee hours of the morning because of the rain delay last night. So this makes it a little doubly tough as guys are here, and it feels like, oh my gosh, it's been the last 3 days. It's only a day and a half.
Yeah, most of the Braves, and I can vouch for that, didn't get to bed till at least 4 a.m. this morning, traveling back from South Florida. Let's take a look at the batting order, brought to you by Stone Mountain Park and Evergreen Marriott Resort. For great getaway packages, visit stonemountainpark.com. Braves take the field. Here's John Russell's starting lineup tonight. Akinori Iwamura will lead it off and play second base. He's been in a horrible slump, but battling back. Neil Walker, just called up from AAA, is at third base. Andrew McCutchen, Garrett Jones, and Ryan Domich. You remember him. He's the guy that hit the walk-off homer in the 10th last Sunday to beat the Braves. Lastings Millage in left field. Bottom third of the order, Jeff Clement. Bobby Crosby, a late addition into the shortstop position, taking over for Ronnie Cedeno, and Zach Duke is the pitcher. And on the mound, John, for the Braves, Derek Lowe.
And Derek Lowe's going against a lineup that's struggling to score some runs. They're only hitting .235 versus right-handed pitchers, and he's brought his hits to innings down. As you look at his year, 6-4, 5.3 ERA, and those innings, we got to get those innings up. He's going to have to pitch some innings tonight, and fortunately, it hasn't been too long of a delay, and he didn't miss too much of the time since he's warmed up. And he can attack these hitters. Only one hitter in the lineup currently hitting over 300 against a right-handed pitcher, and that's Ryan Domich. So, you know, if he can attack the strike zone today, stay on attack, may the Braves get out in front, feel good about themselves, and keep playing good baseball.
The defense behind Derek Lowe tonight. In the outfield, in left field, the hot-hitting Melky Cabrera. Nate McLeod in center. Jason Hayward in right. Third to first. Tonight it'll be Jones, Escobar, Prado, and Glosson. David Ross gets the start again behind the plate, giving Brian McCann one more day to rest that sore quadricep muscle. But Brian said he was ready to go, could have played, and is typical with Bobby Cox, one more day. Here are the umpires for tonight's game. We talked to you about them with regard to the rain delay. Phil Cousy behind the plate. Chris Cuccione's at first base. Brian O'Nora is the crew chief. He'll work at second tonight. And Scott Berry, a rookie umpire, is working at third. First time we've seen this crew this year. Derek Lowe's last start came against the Pirates. He went 5 innings, gave up 5 hits and 2 runs, but he walked 4 and threw 99 pitches in 5 innings and got the win, his 6th of the year. And as John told you earlier, he is 8-0 lifetime against the Pirates. Akinori Iwamura leads it off. And after snapping his 0 for 32 against Atlanta last weekend, he's hit in 5 straight games. And we're ready to go. About an hour and 20 minutes late. The first pitch is a little outside, ball 1. Just a 174 average for the former Tampa Bay Ray. Right back to Lowe. Wow. It's going to be a slow track, you would think, out there, John, for anything hit on the ground.
Yeah, but once again, the Braves ground crew, they do an incredible job, and this system that they have underneath this field just takes water and just gushes it out like a river, and they just can, very few games get rained out here. It's a tribute to what they've been able to do, and players are happy for it too, because the conditions are pretty good after a big rain.
Neil Walker just called up from AAA, a former first-round pick for the Pirates. Takes a strike. Signed as a catcher. They moved him to third base. They've got a terrific prospect waiting in AAA to play third, so he's been playing second, third, and all over the place. A little first base, too. Hey. Another comebacker. I like the way this is starting.
Well, early on, that's a great sign. I mean, what we've been talking about and what I believe will end up happening is, as the year plays out, his sinker has to it'll get heavier and heavier, and certainly the second half numbers show it for Derek Lowe. So attack, attack, attack has got to be his mindset with that sinker.
Here's the hottest hitter right now for the Pirates. That's Andrew McCutchen. It's at 346 over his last 3 weeks, and his average up to 313. First pitch swinging, sends one to right, but right at Jason Hayward. And a quick inning for Derek Lowe. A 5-pitch inning. Gotta like that. And we go to the bottom half of the first. Zach Duke does against the lineup for Bobby Cox. Martin Prado at the top of the order, followed by Jason Hayward and Chipper Jones. Troy Gloss will be in the cleanup spot. Yunel Escobar batting fifth tonight. His last 3 games outstanding down in Florida. Melky Cabrera in left field had a great road trip. Then Ross, McLeod, and Lowe. And left-hander Zach Duke on the mound for the Pirates.
Yeah, and he's been pretty good lately. The statistics being 3 and 4, 4.47, but only 1 earned run in his last 13 games. He was their All-Star selection last year, and I like to think that, you know, with Pittsburgh not having the success and most of his career, see what kind of pitcher he turns into and where he ends up. Shoot, as you look at Pittsburgh over the last 4 years, all their good players go somewhere else anyways.
The defense behind Zach Duke tonight. A couple of outfielders who can really go get them in Lastings Millage and Andrew McCutcheon. Garrett Jones, a former Braves farmhand in right. Walker, the rookie, at third base. Crosby at short. Second baseman is Iwamura. Jeff Clement at first. Ryan Doment doing the catching. And Martin Prado leads off for Atlanta. 7 for 27 on the road trip. But 3 of those hits came last night. He takes ball 1. Duke is 27 years old, 6'2", 205 pounds, from Clifton, Texas. He was a 20th round draft pick in 2001. Down the line, but slicing foul. Duke, a guy who doesn't normally walk a lot of people. He averages under 3 walks per 9 innings in his career. This year, 21 in 58 innings. Martin goes the other way again, sinking in front of Jones, and it'll drop. Base hit. Good start for Atlanta in the first, and you'd love to put some runs on the board early with the threat of rain still around.
Right now, the opponent's batting average against Zach Duke's a little too high, and 340 actually left-handers hitting off of him, and right-handers hitting at a 302 clip. But he battles and he keeps the Pirates in the game and lives on a 2-seamer and change-up, mixes it up.
Jason Hayward sat out Sunday's game when Duke pitched, so he didn't face him. His thumb was bothering him a little bit. He came in later and pinch hit. Takes ball 1. Jason was 7 for 20 on the road trip with a homer. The homer came in Pittsburgh. Found that one off his back foot. The National League leaders in batting average during the month of May, and Jason Hayward 4th.
So far in May, the Braves in the NL have the most runs in May, 136. We talked about this as they were facing some of the staffs. Time for guys to get going, and they definitely have done that. Bat 271 at home. Good, comfortable number.
Yeah, they're having a good month of May. 17 and 8. Dodgers are 17 and 7. They're the only team with a better record. What you're talking about, John, the runs scored. Sure makes pitching a lot easier, doesn't it?
Definitely helps.
A little room for a mistake or two. 2-1 to Jason. 3-1.
Interesting stat for Pittsburgh. Their starters are 10 and 26, and their relievers are 10 and 2. It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah, best winning percentage among bullpen of anybody in the league. Full count. You mentioned the good work lately for Zach Duke. He got off to a bad start, but he's allowed in his last 2 starts just 1 earned run. It's over a 13-inning stretch.
Beat Roy Halladay.
Yes, he did.
2-1, which may have started the Phillies' little downspill. Or part of it. They just haven't been playing good lately, and no one could have seen that coming.
Colorado running, and the pitch pull foul.
And that's why we talked about what a difference 11 games make. But when you're sitting in last place, no matter how much it's bunched up, you can't afford thinking, well, okay, we'll you got to get in that second slot. And then if Philadelphia ends up winning 10 in a row or running away, you're still in position to make a run for the wild card, and now certainly in position for the division. But we could have never thought that after their 9-game losing streak.
No. It's farthest thing from your mind. Runner going again, and again it's fouled off. Here are those standings, and the Braves just 11 days ago were in last place. Not anymore. And it's kind of funny, John. It's like the bottom is coming up and the top's coming down.
Yeah, it's been one of those years where you can't even see teams posturing. It's just been weird. You can't explain it, and you just hope to take advantage of it.
The Chutes and Ladders division, as John called it the last time we were together. A really good description. Prado going again, and it's fouled off again. Jason hanging tough. He hit a ball so hard last night, John, it was scary. And amazing that it didn't go out of the ballpark to that deep corner down in Florida, about 434 feet away.
Stays on lefties. He just stays under control as he's swinging. You don't think there's too many spots you can expose.
Prado decides not to go, and it was ball 4. So some early pressure on Zach Duke, a guy who doesn't walk a lot of people. But this team, the Braves, have drawn more walks than anybody in baseball, and lately, because of the way they've been swinging the bat, they're taking advantage of those free base runners.
And that was a great at bat because he fouled off every two-seam sinker that was coming in his hands. And as a pitcher, you know, after so many pitches, you try to fool him, and he made a good curveball pitch, but Jason did not bite. His aggressiveness did not take over, and his patience won.
And that happens so often. Here's Chipper. 5 for 21 on the road trip, swinging the bat a little better, and he's worn out. Zach Duke, 11 for 21 with a homer in his career. 0-1. First 2 runners have reached here in the first. Big curveball hit off the end of the bat toward center, but McCutchen can fly, and boy, does he close the gap there for the catch. Andrew McCutchen's the guy that took over for Nate McLeod after the Braves traded for Nate last year. And McCutchen has not looked back. He's taken over and played great out there. Troy Gloss's average really took a hit on the road trip. He only went 2 for 19 on the trip. Toward the hole. That'll get through. Prado's going to be waved home. Garrett Jones, no throw. Braves lead 1-0. Welcome home, Troy Gloss.
If you're the third base coach, one thing you know is he takes this ball and goes to right field. The outfield's going to be wet, and the ball's not going to get out to the outfielder. Didn't hit it that hard, but he was waving him the whole way. And the other thing you got to know is when you pick up that ball, it's going to be a little wet as well. So be a lot of aggressive base running tonight as the Braves jump out to that 1-0 lead. And so far, the approach has been pretty good. Looks like everyone's trying to take that outside sinker and go the other way, and 2 of the hits have been successful.
Troy Gloss hitting 35 points higher at home than on the road. And gets a hit to drive in the first run of the ball game. Yunel Escobar really came to life down in Florida. And as we were talking down there, John perhaps got a little home cooking. Got to see some family and friends, and boy, did he play well. He went 4 for 9 in that series.
He is such an important part to the Braves' success, not only from his defense at shortstop being solid and ability to get to a lot of balls. His offense, which has suffered because of the early troubles with some injuries in spring training, is going to be key because he really can spray the ball, hit with power. We haven't seen a lot of power yet, but when he gets going, the Braves will be very beneficial offensively because of his bat.
Pulls that one toward third, and Walker will make the tag there for the out. Not sure why he didn't try to perhaps start a double play effort, but that ball was hit fairly slow.
This is one that he did try to pull, and that's the result of a sinker you try to pull, a slow chopper. Because it was hit so slow, really only had one play. Look for one of the guys that have been clutch with runners in scoring position lately. See if he can deliver with 2 outs.
Melky Cabrera, a terrific road trip. He's got a 6-game hitting streak working. Went 8 for 17 on the trip. And he had a good series in Pittsburgh. He went 3 for 7 with a homer, his first of the year.
Braves did not take BP today due to getting in so late. I think Bobby took guys and said, let them hit the cage. You know, nothing wrong with that. Take some swings indoors, get their bodies recharged.
Good change up there from Duke, 1-1. You come back from a road trip, and people might say, yeah, well, you had all day to catch up on your sleep, even if you got to bed at somewhere between 4 and 5 a.m. But it doesn't work that way when you got to come back out here and crank it up.
Well, and historically, Fridays are always the toughest time to get to the ballpark. You got a shorter window to get there. Even if, let's say, Bobby at times will say you don't have to get dressed till 5:30, 6 o'clock. Well, either choices are sit in traffic for an hour and a half or beat the traffic. So players definitely have to make a short recovery.
High off the plate. This is trouble. Zach Duke. No play. Bases loaded. An infield hit for Cabrera, and he's hit it 7 straight. And they're loaded for David Ross.
Right here is a nightmare for a pitcher. He hit it off the plate. If he'd have hit it off the dirt, it wouldn't have been as high. And just got to eat it. Ross is 4 for 10 off of Zach Duke. Nice big 2-out hit right here to get the Braves rolling. When they score 4 runs or more, the Braves are 23-4, so 23 of their 25 wins have a formula of 4 runs or more.
How about getting them all right here? That'd be nice. Ross was 2 for 3 off of him last Sunday. And he ropes one into left field. That might go all the way to the wall. Millage can't cut it off. 2 runs are in. Cabrera's around third. They'll wave him to the plate. And he is safe. David Ross clears them off. And there's your 4 runs, John.
There you go. Good call. And getting them all right here. Nothing more frustrating for Zach, who's had some success in his 15 innings. You know, any of those balls are hit a little harder. The last 2, he's got a double play. He hangs a curveball over the middle of the zone. This ball kind of scoots by blasting Millages. He gets it. Good base running by Melky Cabrera as he scores from first. And the Braves have that 4 number looking to add on.
David hit that ball. I was afraid because of the wet turf it might kind of plug out in left field, but it didn't. And they give Ross 3 RBIs. He's up to 11. And Nate McLeod, guy we highlighted in our opening comments tonight about how well he's hit with runners in scoring position in May, has a chance for a 2-out RBI here. The former Pirate 4 for 7 with a homer against Zach Duke.
Always see Derek Lowe on deck. I always felt that if you could, as a pitcher, bat in the first inning, you got a 100% win ratio. That's the way you
That's
think.
a good sign, yeah.
And I never did it in my entire career.
No? You never batted in the first inning ever?
Never once.
Oh, I don't believe that. Come on.
I think I would remember that because I always made that statement. I said, man, if I bat in the first inning, I'm going to say that I'm not going to lose. But never got a chance to do it.
Okay.
Came close, bases loaded, 1 out, and the guy hit it to double play. But
2-2 to Nate. who, despite his good work with runners in scoring position this month and getting some key hits, including some long balls that have helped, it hasn't shown up in his average. He was 1 for 17 on the road trip. And strikes out here. Duke runs one in on his hands, but the Braves put a 4 spot on the board in the first inning. Troy Glaus with an RBI single to get it started. And then with the bases loaded, David Ross with a 3-run double. And we go to the second. To you by SunTrust. Live solid, bank solid. How about the most wins since 2002, John? Only Roy Halladay has more wins than Derek Lowe.
That durability has definitely paid off for Derek, as he really doesn't miss any action. Makes all his starts, and the product there since 2002, second in wins. Pretty good company.
Yes, he is. Good company there.
Mr. Oswald ends up staying in Houston. Kind of made a statement of wanting to go somewhere, maybe out of frustration. Traded.
That might depend on where they go. They're in the cellar in the Central, 11.5 out. 15 games under 500. If that continues, they may try to peddle him. A 5-pitch first inning for Derek Lowe, and he starts Garrett Jones with a strike. Jones signed with the Braves, released, went to Minnesota's organization, wound up here in Pittsburgh, and he's found a home.
All these good signs. We need this light rain that started to just stay light.
Boy.
Ponchos. A lot of ponchos tonight in the stands.
Jones went 0 for 3 against Derek in that start Lowe made against the Pirates last Friday night, or excuse me, Saturday night, 22nd.
That pitch right there is such an important pitch for Derek. When he stays ahead of the count, he can get a hitter to swing at that. I call it a hard slider down at the left-hander's foot.
Oh my, he just reached out and one-handed that into left field. Escobar was playing him way up the middle, so a huge hole over there, and there's the first hit of the night for the Pirates.
And you don't mind that. His butt's going into the Braves dugout, and he just happens to flick it out there, and there's nothing you can do as a pitcher. Those are the kind of bats that you'll see a lot off of Derek Lowe when his sinker is as effective as it can be.
The ball looked like it was 6 inches off the plate, too.
But it was set up perfectly by him by throwing that slider down and in.
The dangerous Ryan Doman steps in. Doman hitting .285, but he's been hot. 6 for his last 16 with a couple of homers, including that game winner Sunday against Atlanta. This Pirates team offensively has done most of their damage on the road. offensively, very few home runs at home. For example, Andrew McCutcheon has 5 homers. All of them have been on the road. And Ryan Domit's hitting 14 of his last 17 on the road. 2-1.
Throws over with a 4-0 lead on a little bit of rain. We got to attack the hitter right now.
Yeah, let's get after it. Jones has swiped 3 bases and hasn't been caught, but 4-0. He is going. David Ross's throw a little high, but got him. You just don't run on the gun. David Ross driving him in and gunning him down.
Maybe the Braves knew something here by throwing over twice and keeping him close as guns him down at second. A little strange strategy, if you ask me, with a 4-0 game in the second inning. Trying to steal a base. Thank you very much, Derek Lowe says, and he gets his second out.
Tricky hop handled by Gloss. 2 outs. David Ross now 5 out of 10 on base stealers, throwing them out. He really got robbed last night. He threw out Hanley Ramirez in the first inning, but didn't get the call. Or he'd be 6 for 10. 2 out for Lastings Millage.
When you have Brian McCann, who plays most of the time and he's your all-star catcher, I don't think people realize how valuable David Ross has become. Not only from a defensive standpoint, but spelling him and getting some big hits offensively. He's really been a hidden MVP for the Braves behind the dish.
I agree. Strike 1 to Millage, hitting .257. He's hit in 9 of his last 12. Popped up into right center field. McLeod wants it. A real quick inning for Derek Lowe there. Just 9 pitches, making 11 pitches in the inning. Excellent.
I went to New York and I thought my phone clicker was broke when I saw the Braves were losing by 6 in the 9th and then landed in the plane. That had to be an unbelievable victory.
It was one of the most exciting things I've ever seen when Brooks Conrad hit the grand slam to cap off that rally against the Reds. Derek Lowe leads off the second. Here's a reminder.
And then later saw the replay because all I was going by the score, and I went, oh, my. He thought it was caught.
Yeah. It was like he had that look on that innocent look on his face, like, what? Huh? It couldn't have happened to a better guy.
I'll never forget it.
Cut by Derek, but he fouls it back. Derek's 1 for 15 on the year with an RBI. Hard hit down the line. Derek Lowe is going to have an extra base hit. Hastings Millage over in the corner to get it. Derek's happy with a leadoff double. And he should be. That was hard hit.
Takes a pitch and just pulls it down the line. Third baseman has no business being over there because you don't think Derek's going to do that. Mistake pitch by Zach Duke, and Braves back in action with a runner on second.
Martin Prado got the 4-run first inning started with a leadoff single to right. Back to hit one to right again.
Come on.
He has 4 hits in his last 5 at bats. A double for Derek Lowe, his first extra base hit since 2006. It's nice to know that he knew how to turn left.
Kid.
You don't mind him early. Maybe in the 7th. Oh, you don't mind him ever.
No.
Just take it easy when you come in the 7th, get the second.
He took it easy in the 2nd inning. He was enjoying it. That was like a doubles trot. 2-1 to Prado.
Here's a part right here. I know it's 4-0, but it's only in the 2nd inning. Martin and the Braves, to do this right, he's got to try to make sure he gets Derek over to third so they can keep adding on. He might even get a hit to right center in doing so.
To the hole, and Crosby with a tough play. Long throw. Didn't get him. Wow, did Bobby Crosby make a great play to make it close, though.
As you said, he reached in and made a throw right on the money just in time. Infield hit when you're going good.
5 for his last 6 for Martin.
I don't know what his chances are, but I'd love to see him make the All-Star team. That would be such a neat story for him, as hard as he's worked and waited.
He was 3rd in the voting. First voting that came out. Just need this homestand to do him some good. Jason Hayward takes a strike. He walked his first time. That's some good sinking action. 0-2. Not a lot of wind right now after the rain passed through. Down and in 1-2. Millage in left field, way off the third base line. The left field line. And as we've seen before, when he's behind in the count against a left-handed pitcher, Jason Hayward willing to go the other way. Bounce that one up the middle. Might be 2. Tough hop though for Uemura, and they only get 1. That ball came up and hit him in the chest, it looked like, and they're on the corners with 1 out.
Looks like early on they're trying to pound Jason Hayward. Yeah, that ball did come up. I don't think they would have got 2 anyways, the way Jason hustles down to first, but nonetheless, Chipper is in an RBI situation. Try and get some more runs for Derek as he's standing at third base.
You know, even 1 more run, John, like you're talking about, it also just kind of thumps the Pirates a little bit more. You try to keep them down as much as you can when you've already gotten an early lead. Ball is fouled. Chipper 6 for 8 in getting that runner in from third with less than 2 out. Had 2 hits and 2 walks last night, including an RBI double in the first inning. That curve missed. Taking a long time for this sign. 1-1 the count. Fought off in the shallow right. Base hit. A run in. Hayward will stop at second, and it's 5-0 on Chipper Jones' 16th RBI of the year. And it was a broken bat beauty.
I'll tell you what, Chipper doesn't break many bats, but he'll take this one. As they tried to jam him and they got it in. Just enough to break the bat, but just enough to get it over the second baseman's head for an RBI single.
They've thrown in that breaking ball twice in a row. Probably looking for another one.
What that does to a hitter when you throw 2 slow breaking balls, the fastball in looks even faster. And Chipper was able to muscle it over into right field.
5-0 Atlanta. Troy Gloss drove in the first one in the first inning. His 30th RBI of the year. A drive to center. McCutchen turned the wrong way, but now he's got a bead on it, and just shy of the track he makes the catch. Both runners will tag and move up. Troy put a charge in that one, but came up just a little short there at second and third with 2 out.
I always felt, I know it's dumb, but I always felt if a batter could make the base runners move up a base, it should be a sac fly. But in this case, I know it's not. Only with a runner on third does he get credit for a sac fly. But now you got 2 runners in scoring position with 2 outs. A chance to make what already is a tough score for the Pirates, who don't score a lot of runs, maybe unreachable.
Yeah, I'll try to add on. Escobar goes after the first pitch, swinging bunt. Walker, nice play, ends the inning. Neil Walker handles a swinging bunt. Braves get 1. We go to the third. Atlanta up 5-0.
Or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Atlanta Braves.
We go to the third inning. Braves up 5-zip for Derek Lowe. He's only thrown 16 pitches through 2 innings. That's economical. He'll face the bottom third of the order. Clement, Crosby, and Duke. Jeff Clement, a former Johnny Bench Award winner out of the University of Southern California as the outstanding college catcher. Signed with the Mariners, now with Pittsburgh. He's behind the count 0-2. 5 for his last 10. As you can see, some more drizzle falling on Derek Lowe, and he makes short order of Mr. Clement. First strikeout for Derek.
One, two, three action. Fastball, hard slider, and then a curveball on the outside part of the plate. Derek looks very much in command and to the point that he knows he's a veteran. He's coming out aggressive because of the long night last night and the fact that now more than ever he has an opportunity to pitch deep in the game and help that bullpen out.
Bobby Crosby making his first start since last Sunday against the Braves. It was a late addition. Ronnie Cedeno was scratched. No word as to why. Former Oakland A. And with Neil Walker on the scene, a former first-round draft pick for the Pirates, Bobby Crosby and LaRoche probably figure their playing time will be cut into a little bit.
If you're I mean, we'll talk about it later, but if you're a Pittsburgh Pirate fan, I mean, besides frustration, all these different transactions and trades and just the amount of players that come and go, it's got to be difficult. You don't keep a player very long. To mention right there, yeah.
Straight season. Last season they had that was a winning year was 92, the year of the Sid Bream slide. Good changeup. Back-to-back strikeouts for Lowe. They've got some players in the pipeline, John. They've got Walker just called up. They've got Alvarez, who was a first-round pick a couple of years ago out of Vanderbilt. Got a catcher out of Pennsylvania named Sanchez. It's a real good-looking player and was also a #1 pick.
Well, the problem is they've lost a lot of guys that have been in the big leagues that are now in some other team's big leagues, and the people they've got in return are just future guys, not very many guys. And then they go and sign guys like Ryan Church, Bobby Crosby, Brendan Donnelly, Octavio Dotel, Javier Lopez. And
it's a mix.
It is a mix.
Well, and they're just trying to put players together, waiting for the arrival of some of their draft picks that they really like. As Zach Duke, the pitcher, lines one to right, and in the lights, Jason Hayward battles him, but he makes the catch, and another quick inning for Derek Lowe. And the rain begins to fall. Let's hope it stays away. Braves up by 5. Mississippi will have the chance to win free airfare for 2 if the Braves hit a home run during the 3rd inning. Visit PeachTreeTV.com/contests for official rules and for a chance to win. AirTran Airways, go. There's nothing stopping you.
Got me excited there for a minute.
I know. Doesn't take much.
It really doesn't.
Melky Cabrera leads off the 3rd. He singled and scored in the 1st inning. First pitch swinging. 3-hopper to Uemura, and he handles it 1 out. Zach Duke could use a quick inning. He's up to 46 pitches already. And David Ross, who had the big blow in the 1st inning, comes to the plate. He had a bases loaded double that cleared the sacks. He's 4 for his last 9. I have a question for you.
All right.
Pitcher to hitter. It has to do with a guy that you know pretty much owns you. You know that.
Right.
Right? I mean, you know this guy has no fear. He doesn't matter what you throw. He's going to be on it. What goes through your mind about how you're going to do something different tonight?
Well, the biggest thing is you look for whatever it is, what area you go to more times than not that he's having success. And if it's one of those guys where it doesn't matter what you throw, well, there's not much you can do about it. But you try to implant something different in their minds, and you work off the account. This ball is carrying a pretty good race.
Oh, he almost hit that ball out of the park. It's off the wall for at least a double. He'll stop at second. Wow, did that ball carry. David Ross with 2 doubles, and that one, at first I thought it was just going to slice foul.
Well, the outfielder started going laterally, and then all of a sudden he just started, you see the back of his jersey as he hits this. You could see him going to get it like, wow. And that ball hit the top of the yellow, and luckily it stayed in the park for Zach.
And the wind is the flag anyways, showing it's blowing straight in. Eric Jones actually overran that ball.
But what you basically have to do is you've got to come up with something different to give him a thought like, hey, why did he do that? Or what's he doing? And you just hope that if you face a guy long enough that the numbers will turn in your favor. But it comes down to making really good pitches. Some guys could be 4 for 8 off you, and if you know you made 4 horrible pitches, it's not a big deal. But if you feel like you've tried everything and you just tip your hat and throw, maybe tell them what's coming.
Yeah. Fastball down the middle. Curveball inside, pull foul. Nate struck out his first time up, and he's 0-2 here. I just feel, as I commented on the road trip, John, that until Nate starts trying to hit a few balls to the other side of second base, the left field side of second base, there's no reason for a pitcher to even throw him middle of the plate in.
No, but they have actually been pounding him in a lot to do exactly what you're saying. As you see right there is that spot he has not been able to hit. And lefties have been wearing him out in there, and some righties have been trying to get him in there. And for a guy, as you said, Joe, likes to pull the ball, that's not going to be a formula for success.
It didn't look like a strike. I don't think in the pitch you're talking about, I don't think is, especially when they get ahead in the count.
Well, when you're not going good, your pitch recognition, your strike recognition is not going to be that good. It's almost synonymous with things aren't going good.
Derek Lowe, robbed on the line drive right back to the mound. Phil Cuzzy saw the catch. Derek Lowe is bidding for his 2nd hit of the night. Braves leave a runner in scoring position. We go to the 4th. Crowd hanging in there, and they're enjoying what they've seen so far. Braves up 5-0. Need 2 more innings to be an official contest. But some lightning flashing around out to the northeast side of the ballpark. Let's hope that if there's rain there, it stays away. Lowe's given up only 1 hit. That was Garrett Jones. He was erased trying to steal, so Derek's faced the minimum through 3 innings.
We were talking earlier when we had some time back at Fulton County Stadium. We had one of those storms. It didn't look like much. It stayed over the stadium, and cars in the parking lot actually were getting washed away. And my vivid memory of Rafael Belliard went down the hallway with a shopping cart because the water was taller than him, and so he was in a shopping cart trying to see what was happening up on the field. I don't even know why we had a shopping cart in the stadium. I guess we have
for baseball's like for batting practice or something. Iwamura pulls one down the first base line. They're going to rule it foul off the leg of Iwamura. I don't think so.
If it grazed it.
Certainly missed his foot. He caught a break, it looked like, but not this time. That's the second straight time he's hit a comebacker to the mound. He's 0 for 2.
Fans, it's time for the know-how question of the game built by the Home Depot. If you have a question, send us an email, and if chosen, we will answer it later in the game. Send your email to braves@peachtree.com. Please include your name. More saving, more doing. That's the power of Home Depot. PeachtreeTV.com. That computer stuff always messes me up. Like, what's the big deal if you miss a letter? But I guess it is.
I guess that's important.
If you don't say it right, I guess it's important too.
Whoa. You're not calling you John Smolt.
I've been called worse.
John Smolt, Chipper Jones, Neil Walker, first round pick in 04. At a Pine Richland High School in Pennsylvania. He was playing good at Indianapolis too, by the way, hitting .321, 6 homers, 18 doubles already. He also hit a comebacker to the mound his first time up. This one to left. Cabrera was shallow, and this might get over his head. It will. Ball all of a sudden is jumping. Has to be because of the rain, John, with all the nitrogen in the air. Just the ball carries better when there's more nitrogen.
Yeah. I was just about to say that too. I knew this answer, but our good buddy, as you watch this replay, and his ball, first one he got up, hit it for a double. Chris Van Zandt, one of the astute clubhouse personnel with Ben Acree, tells me that the carts are used to bring the bats and the balls from the field. I do that. Just want to make sure they're paying attention down there.
They always do.
They do.
Andrew McCutcheon fly to right his first time up, takes a strike. 2 for 7 in his career against Derek Lowe, who enjoys a 5-0 lead. This guy's a good player. He's a good-looking player. I think the Pirates ideally would like to have him leading off, but because he's the only one really swinging the bat consistently and driving in some runs, John Russell has to put him in the 3 spot.
There's not many 3-hole hitters would lead their team in stolen bases.
No.
He's got 12 of them.
And he can really run. That pitch had some good movement, late movement, 2-2. Pirates made a move on their roster today. Former Brave Charlie Morton went on the disabled list with right shoulder fatigue. Charlie was off to just a horrible start. 1-9 with a 9.35 ERA. Hard hit through, base hit. Melky Cabrera's on that quickly, and Walker will have to stop at third, and they're on the corners with one out. And McCutcheon continues his good hitting.
Yeah, so far he's been pretty good with his sinker, but this one comes back over the middle of the plate, and he can pull it through the hole. Being down 5-0, you can't take chances, and you got to make sure you almost go station to station. It's a product of being ahead. And what Derek wants to do is get this ground ball double play and get back into the inning with a 0.
Well, this is a guy they like having up there with a chance to get back in the ball game. 5 homers, 30 RBIs. And he's hit into 7 double plays, but not this time. But room for Hayward. Both runners tag. Walker will score. And the Pirates are on the board, and it's 5-1. It looked like Garrett Jones just missed that one. 31 RBIs.
No pitcher likes giving up runs, but you'll sacrifice a run to get an out to limit the damage. So 5-1, runner on first. Probably a candidate to steal with 2 outs.
And a throw over just in case. Domit grounded to first, his first time up. McCutcheon 12 out of 16 in stolen bases. And along with probably Michael Bourne of Houston and Shane Victorino of the Phillies, among the fastest players in the league. 2-0 to Domit. They're your National League stolen base leaders. Jose Reyes beginning to heat up for the Mets too. Boy, are they playing well at home. On the ground to Prado, should be an easy play, and that'll end the inning. But the Pirates get on the board. A run on a couple of hits and a sac fly. We go to the bottom of the 4th.
Disqualified him for being a rookie. I was going to say Brian McCann.
Yeah, he may have had too many at bats
that first year, right?
First year. Good call, though. Jason Hayward certainly with a shot to earn a spot. Top of the order again up for Atlanta. Prado, Hayward, and Chipper. Martin 2 for 2 tonight. His average back up to 320. 5 hits in his last 6 at bats. The Mets, I mentioned, playing good baseball. They have the best record in the major leagues at home. They're 19-9. Did everybody in the division some good when they swept the Phillies. Right through a fastball, 2-2.
We picked down the leadoff men early on because in April they hit 126. In May they're hitting 287.
Thanks to this guy. And that's out of play. Still alive. Yeah, quite an improvement, I'd say. Martin is now 8 for 17 in his career against Zach Duke with a homer. And that's up the middle. Crosby. No trouble. 1 out.
Joe, I heard some disturbing news for you on the road trip.
You did?
Past road trip, yeah. I heard the golf did not go very well. Your matches didn't go very well since I wasn't on the road.
Yeah.
Maybe your adrenaline was low. But
Could have been.
I heard you went 0-2. Is that true?
Yeah, I did.
Ouch. Sorry to hear that.
It's all right. I can bounce back. It's a long season. Jason Hayward lines one to right field, base hit. Picked on the first pitch, looked like a hanging breaking ball. He has his first hit of the night. And as Chipper Jones comes to the plate, let's take a look at tonight's leaderboard, brought to you by the Sunshine House, a tradition of excellence in early education. And down in Florida, he racked up some walks and passed Eddie Matthews on the all-time Braves list for walks. If you pass Dale Murphy, Hank Aaron, and Eddie Matthews in anything,
yeah,
that's pretty good.
He'll have a statue.
Yeah.
What do you do, though? Right-handed statue or left-handed statue?
Nice hard slide by Jason to prevent a double play ball. That's a good question. I don't know. He might have to make the call on that if they build a statue to him.
Yeah. Cincinnati, the Bengals are 2 touchdowns. They scored 2 touchdowns in the Titans. Well, they could get a field goal. Not the Titans, I guess. Houston's now
the Texans.
The Texans.
Troy Gloss has a base hit and an RBI, and he hit a deep shot to center his last time up. Picked up his 30th RBI in the first inning, which was a 4-run first for the Braves. Skies that one, but an easy player. Should be for McCutchen. And it is. Zach Duke has settled in a little bit, but as we go to the 5th inning, he still trails 5-1.
Unexpectedly low price. Jamieson Inns. Live large, pay less.
3 more outs needed for this to be an official contest as the mist continues to fall here.
All that hydrogen and stuff has made his hair stand up.
Yeah, it'll take the starch right out of it sometimes, too. Last thing's Millage. Swings at the first pitch. 1 pitch, 1 out. Time for the answer to the trivia question. The last, what was it? Last Braves rookie?
Yeah, who's the last Braves rookie to be selected to the All-Star team?
I'm going to go Rafael Furcal, maybe.
Greg Olson.
Wow.
Greatest story ever. He only got called up because our catcher that we signed decided to retire after the first trip. Just retired. So that's it. He got called up and made the All-Star team. Greg did.
Who was that?
I had it until you just asked me. We picked him up from the Mets, I think. Backup catcher, played for a few years in the big leagues. And I remember having him on one road trip, played some cards on the plane. Next thing you know, came in the manager office, said, that's it. Taking it to the house.
Bad timing for him, good timing for Greg Olson. Tough play for Prado. Nicely done. Clement retired, 2 down.
Can't believe I forgot his name.
Crack statistician to the Stars, Hal Galima's on it. He's trying to keep water from dripping into his laptop tonight.
That's a nice contraption up there. Yeah. Garbage bag. Looks like a bowl of water. It's going to spill on him at any time.
It's like a prank. You know, somebody's about to pull the string on him.
I'm going to throw a pen in it and see if I can pop it.
Bobby Crosby struck out his first time up. There's Hal. He's having to work with his back to the game a little tonight. Ashley Diamond, our booth assistant.
See if that camera can pan up a little bit.
I don't know.
You get it right there.
I'm not sure it can go that high, but it's like a water balloon.
There it is.
Just waiting to drop on O'Hal.
Let's see if I can. Oh, the pen stayed in there. Now I can't. I lost my pen. I need another pen, please.
Two and two to Crosby. Over but low, full count. Mets in Milwaukee scoreless through 7. Mets pitchers Johan Santana tonight. Been outstanding. That's well hit into right center, but McLouth again calls for it, and he has it. This is an official contest. We played 4.5. Braves lead 5-1. Yunel Escobar will lead off the 5th. 5-1. We go to the bottom of the fifth. Escobar, Cabrera, and Ross due up. A little wet here at the ballpark tonight, but the fans hanging in there. And right now, just a light mist falling. Unell tonight reached on a fielder's choice and scored a run in the first. He's grounded out, 0 for 2. Just talking between innings as that's out of play about the manager for the Pittsburgh Pirates, John Russell. He was a #1 draft pick by the Phillies back in 1982. Eventually worked his way to Atlanta, played for the Braves in 1989, and you would have had an opportunity to throw to him.
Yep. Yeah, I threw to a lot of catchers in the span of 88 to really until Greg Olson came up. John was one of them. Good teammate.
3-1 to Escobar.
That big step off 4.
Most of those guys from University of Oklahoma are.
Yeah, down to earth.
Power hitters.
I haven't met too many that are good golfers from Oklahoma yet, though.
Well, you still go back to that, don't you? Haven't you forgotten? Escobar's 0 for 3, 1 out. Actually hit the ball pretty good, just didn't
score
well.
Didn't
happen.
Yeah, that happens. Speaking of happening, this bear walks into a bar, sits down at the bar, says, "Bartender, I'd like a drink." He goes, "What would you like?" He says, "I'd like a rum and Coke." Bartender says, "Why the big paws?" That's compliment to Chuck Dowdle, our famous, astute, long time, great TV sportscaster.
I'm going to punch him right in the nose. Clement stumbled but made the catch, 2 down.
That one just grows on you, though.
Yeah, it does. I'm going to really laugh about a week from today.
You'll be thinking about it. You have a day off playing golf. You just start chuckling, and your guys will ask you why, and you'll tell the joke.
Yeah. Maybe not, but yeah. David Ross has had a good night. 2 doubles. Drove in 3 runs in the first inning with a double, and then almost hit one out of here to right field his last time up on a ball that looked like it was going to slice foul and hit high off the right field fence. Braves had a run in the first inning when they loaded him up for David, and on a hanging breaking ball, he raked it all the way to the wall. Melky Cabrera, the last guy to come around to score. David's now 6 for 12 in his career against Zach Duke. Still alive. Got him with a slow breaking ball. Doman will have to throw him out, and he does. And another quick inning for Zach Duke. We've completed 5. Braves up 5-1.
Monday, May 31st, the Braves take on the Philadelphia Phillies at 1 p.m., followed by a free Beach Boys post-game concert presented by Coca-Cola and Delta Airlines. For tickets, visit braves.com/Beach Boys.
And we wish you a happy Memorial Day weekend wherever you are. Hope you have a safe weekend and a dry one. Zach Duke hitting for himself, stays in the game here in the 6th inning. Hit the ball hard his first time up, fly to right.
He's made a nice recovery since the first inning. By all accounts, if any of those we talked about 2 balls were hit a little harder, he could have got out of that inning. But he's rallied, and the managers are rewarding him, letting him stay in the game, batting down 5-1 here in the top of the 6th.
He's retired 11 of the last 13. Prado from the outfield grass throws him out. 1 away. That was pitch number 60 for Derek Lowe. Something we talked about at the beginning of the ball game, John, that he needed to be more economical, and he has been.
On a staff now that has had a couple people, one with injury struggling, and Kawakami some tough luck not winning games. It's important that the front end of this rotation pick up the slack and not only pitch innings but pitch deep in innings and give their teams a chance to win, so that you can pick up the back end of the rotation and cover it with more bullpen help if you need to.
Iwamura's hit 2 comebackers to Derek Lowe for outs.
Pittsburgh, on the other hand, their bullpen leads all of baseball, I think, in innings pitched, because they don't get many innings out of their starters. Tribute to their bullpen, as we've mentioned, 10-2, but that's a lot of work and stress to be put on a daily basis.
Hot shot backhanded by Prado. Nice play. 2 down.
Two good plays in a row. Wet conditions. Prado helping out his pitcher.
1 to his left and 1 to his right. All-star votes, folks. If you've got an all-star vote or want to go online, Martin Prado's a nice choice. Neil Walker doubled his last time up. He scored their only run. It was his second double since getting called up.
If you wonder what that little timeout was, the hitter saw the scoreboard completely change and go into a pirate background. Hitter's looking in center field. You can see that. It's a big scoreboard.
I was wondering why the big pause.
The way to go, Joe. Man, I'm going to tell you what, you got this down pat. When are we going on the road?
I'll get back to you.
Hal only gave me a 5 out of 10. I can take that. I can take that. It wasn't my original joke.
Yeah, you're blaming on somebody else.
But I do thank Chuck Dowdle for the text. In case you're wondering, because I know you are, I run it through my children first.
Okay.
And they're my panel. And I did have to explain this one to my 10-year-old.
Okay.
But then she did get it once after a few telling her.
Well, what's amazing about that is that Glenn Diamond got it.
He did right away. And a chuckle.
Mm-hmm. 3-1 to Walker. Hard hit. Martin must have been knuckling on him, and it bounces off his glove, and Walker's going to hustle towards second and make it. That ball ate Martin up, and I'm just going to guess that it was knuckling.
Had to.
It was smoked.
3-1. You want to make him put it in play, and he did. He centered it. Like a Wakefield knuckleball, that probably went a different direction right at the last minute.
Yeah, because he had his glove fingers up, and then had to quickly turn them over. That ball went down in a hurry. Might have hurt too. They're going to score at an E4. Thanks, Hal. Second error of the year for Martin. McCutcheon drove him in the fourth inning. I beg your pardon. McCutcheon moved him to third with a base hit back in the fourth inning, and then the run scored on a Garrett Jones sacrifice fly.
Since his debut, he's 5th in hits in all of baseball. Not bad for a start in his career.
Again, solid player. He was a former first-round pick. And David Ross quickly to the mound after Derek falls behind him 3-0. No walks tonight so far for Derek. Giving up 3 hits. And had a 4-run first to work with. 3-1.
People at home wondering why, pitchers 3-0 can throw strikes right down the middle. Well, more than likely, the hitter's taken. And every other count and every pitch, you're guessing what the hitter's trying to do, and you're trying to make a perfect pitch, and that's why sometimes you can get behind in the account.
Escobar with a good play. Throws out McCutcheon, and that'll end the inning. No damage from the error. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Nate McLeod will lead off for Atlanta. That game will be carried on Sports South. Chip Carey and I will have that one, as well as the Sunday afternoon finale of this series on Fox Sports South. That's a day game, 1:35 first pitch. Then the Phillies come to town. Peachtree TV will be back on the air Tuesday, sandwiched in between a couple of day games on Sports South. Hope you'll make your plans to be with us this weekend, this holiday weekend. Nate McLeod has fanned twice. And quickly in the hole, 0-2. In that same spot, John.
Yeah, they're wearing that spot out.
Hat trick for Nate tonight. Nate McLeod's actually hit well at Turner Field this year. Coming into this game, he was hitting .298 at home and just .113 on the road. .113, just 9 for 80 on the road. Derek Lowe has a double, and then he was robbed of maybe another hit in the third inning when he had a line shot right back at Duke. tip took a bite out of Doman. And Phil Cousy is going to give him a chance to regroup. Five runs, 9 hits for the Braves. 7 of those hits were in the first 2 innings. Two and 2. Chris Medlin against Brian Burris tomorrow for the Pirates. Kenshin Kawakami against Paul Mahalam on Sunday. Full count now to the pitcher. Off the end of the bat, that's foul.
Making them work. Some pitches here in the Zach's up to 83. Bottom of the 6th.
Well, he's done a good job. He's thrown up some zeros since falling behind 5-0. But walks the pitcher after being ahead 0-2. Second walk of the night. First one issued by Duke since the first inning, and Martin Prado, the batter. We did see Martin in the dugout between innings, describing to Chino Kadahia about the ball knuckling to him that was hit by Walker. Didn't seem that there was a whole lot he could do about it. He's 2 for 3 tonight. The Braves at home in 19 games have hit 20 homers. On the road in 28 games, they've hit 18 homers. And their batting average much better at home. That's good to see.
It's also good to see they've been struggling a little bit against left-handers with a .219 team batting average. So tonight, getting out ahead and getting that lead makes that number a little less important.
It's off the end of the bat. Count even to Prado. Duke's overall record against the Braves, 2-3 coming in. Toward the hole and through, base hit. Third hit tonight for Martin after a 3-hit night last night.
And the team really, after his first start where they scored 8 runs, I think, against the Dodgers, they've only scored 18 runs in his last 9 games. So he's had to work really a lot of these games almost pitching perfect. And again, we talk about these Pirates and maturity of some of these players. You look at Tom Gorzolani, John Gravo, Adam LaRoche, Niger Morgan, Nate McLeod, Ronnie Paulino, Xavier Nady, Damasco Marte, Jason Bay. It's a lot of players to lose to other teams, big league players. So as they wait, Joe, as you say, for the development, you just hope that Zach Duke could get an opportunity to pitch with a team behind him that has a chance to win, because most of these guys have not been in a position to reap much success.
It is a team that has not been over 500 after May 29th since the year 2000. Jason Hayward takes one up and in. First and second for the Braves and 1 out.
And, you know, this is the part of it that I kind of like what they're doing. You know, he's got to experience this. He's got to get through these kind of games. He's got to pitch deep. I know it's 5-1. They're losing. And a lot of people would say, oh, you got to get him out of the game. But he has to learn. This is the theory that bucks a lot of systems right now in the big leagues, where don't make a guy throw many innings or many pitches. These are the important times that he'll look back. And he's only been in the league, 4+ years. This is important for him to learn how to how to get out of these innings late in the game, keep his team in it.
Up and into Hayward, 3-0. They don't have anybody warming up in their bullpen. That was Joe Kerrigan, the pitching coach, who went out to talk to him. Kerrigan's certainly a veteran coach who can help these guys learn how to pitch deeper into ball games. And just now they have some activity in their pen.
Steven Jackson.
3-1 to Hayward. There's Jackson. He's the fellow that was just called up from Indianapolis to take Charlie Morton's place on the roster. 3-1 to Hayward. Toward the hole, base hit. Derek Lowe is the lead runner, and he'll be held at third base by Brian Snitker. And that'll load him up for Chipper Jones.
But the point I'm trying to make is if every time a young pitcher or pitcher gets in trouble and you just take him out, you know, how do you know if he's ever going to be able to get out of these jams? And John Russell has a different managerial job as he's trying to navigate some of these young players into big leaguers. And you have to go through these. Sometimes you got to get your butt kicked, and sometimes you got to learn the hard way. But if you just limited everybody to a certain amount of pitches, you never find out anything about anybody when it gets tough.
Well, it's tough right now. It's 5-1 Atlanta. Chipper's already driven in a run tonight. He's 1 for 3. And he's driven in at least one more. Lowe will score. Prado rounds third, and he's going to be waved home. He will score. Chipper adds a little icing. 7-1 Atlanta. He's got his second and third RBIs of the night. He's up to 18 for the year.
Not a bad pitch. He hits it off the end of the bat, but he serves it into center field. By all accounts, that's going to be it for the young pitcher. Zach Duke now makes the dreaded walk out.
He had been cruising right along. He had retired 12 of the last 14 he had faced, and then he got ahead of the pitcher, Derek Lowe, and walked him. And that got all this started. Pirates make the call to the bullpen, and it's brought to you by AT Rethink Possible. And with runners at first and second and 2 in, we'll take this timeout. Rough night for Zach Duke. 7 runs so far on 12 hits. A couple of runners out there that still belong to him, and he'll be relieved by big Steven Jackson out of Summerville, South Carolina. 6'5", 230. Just called up from Indianapolis. I'm sure he's got some family that drove over for the weekend. He's been in the big leagues before, both with the Yankees in the American League and the Pirates last year after they claimed him on waivers. Started out in the Arizona organization. From Arizona to the Yankees in a deal that brought Randy Johnson back to the Diamondbacks.
I tell you, we saw that shot in the dugout with Joe Kerrigan looking and talking to Zach Duke. You don't see that too often, especially after you're taken out of the game. You're already frustrated, but it's an opportunity to teach and learn. And, you know, credit to Zach for hanging in there and trying to see some of the things he's talking about, because the statistics don't look good. 7 runs, 12 hits, but he really didn't pitch that horribly when it talked about a lot of high chopper, a lot of infield type balls that could have got him out of innings. But that's the time that we're talking about to learn. He's frustrated, but you got to take something positive and at least know what you're doing. And Joe's taking that time to go over whatever he wanted to talk about right there at that moment.
Well, let's face it, a hanging curveball cost him 3 runs alone in the first inning, the one he threw to Ross.
All right, with 2 outs after, again, of the high chopper that kept the inning going, the slow chopper that didn't get the double play. And those go by, you know, the wayside, because everyone looks at the end result. 7 runs, 12 hits, you didn't pitch good again, or you didn't pitch good this game, you know. But results don't always indicate what a pitcher's doing. And as you said, you can go back to one big pitch that cleared the bases with 2 outs, and ultimately he hasn't had many runs to work with, so he goes into a game going, if I give up 3, there's a good chance I'm going to lose.
Jackson was 1-0 at Indianapolis, a 3.42 ERA, and hadn't allowed a run in his last 5 appearances. So he earned the call up. 1-2 to Gloss. Struck him out. Troy down on strikes for the first time. He's 1 for 4 with a single and an RBI, and that'll bring up Escobar, who's looking for his first hit tonight. He did reach on a fielder's choice and score a run in the first. He's grounded out twice since then.
Philadelphia looks like they did hang on, so the Braves will keep tabs. They can win this game and stay in second.
3-2 the final, it looks like.
A little nervous with that scoreboard up there.
Boy, come on, let's get.
About as nervous as Hal is with that bag hanging over his head with water in it. Funky looking color water too. It's coming from somewhere other than.
It's not rainwater.
No.
Popped him up. Clement in foul territory has it, and that'll end the inning. So Jackson does the job. He gets Gloss and Escobar, but the Braves put 2 more on the board, and we go to the 7th. They're up 7-1. At night in hits too, with at least 12 for the Pirates. Garrett Jones will lead off the 7th against Derek Lowe, who makes his 74th pitch of the night, and it's a good one. Derek only 1 run allowed on 3 hits and no walks tonight. He struck out 2. Deep to right center. Hayward on the run. He's not going to get it. He'll have to play it off the wall on 1 hop, and Garrett Jones has himself a double. He is 2 for 2 with a sacrifice fly. Playing in Turner Field for the first time against an organization that he originally signed with.
The only time Derek gets in trouble, it seems like, it doesn't look like he finishes the pitch. He stands up and the ball never goes down. It's like he goes through his mechanics, and when he lands, he stands up quicker. If he can stay down through that pitch goes down in the zone, and the hitters have not reacted good to it all night.
And that was a good pickup. I saw that too on the replay when you were talking about it. Ryan Doman 0 for 2.
And it almost looks like the ball floats instead of darts, and he needs the dart action.
And it falls behind Doman 2-0. Chris Medlin will be looking for his 2nd win of the year tomorrow. He's 1-1 with a 2.57 ERA, and Brian Burris 2-2 with a 5.4 ERA for the Pirates.
See, now if you're Derek right now, you've heard that bell go off, and that means get somebody up. You got to change their minds right now. You got to say, I'm going to get through this inning, sit them down, because you got the pride you have to say, I'm going to finish this game 7-1. That's the mindset you've got to have. If you don't have that mindset, then certainly you're satisfied with just getting through this inning. We all hear that bell when we're on the mound.
That should be out of play, and it is. And the count full to Doman. Yeah, and he's only at 80 pitches.
You know, it's been a little bit longer of a day. The game got started an hour later. Fortunately, he didn't have to delay much after he warmed up. But, you know, these are the games you tell yourself, let's go. We walk around the mound, that's it. If I give up this runner, that's it. It's a 2-3-1, only a 3-run game. Don't even look at the score being a 6-run game. Get this guy out.
He lost him. First walk of the night. First 2 reach here in the 7th. Derek's last complete game was with the Dodgers in August of 08. That is Chavez and O'Flaherty loosening up for Atlanta, and Roger McDowell will buy some time for them.
You know, Roger's challenge here is just get him back on task, and just to get him back to throwing the sinker down in the zone, trying to tell him to pound, let him pound this ball on the ground. You haven't walked anybody till right now. It looks like that for whatever reason he came out this inning and wasn't finishing pitches like he has all game. See if he can snap right back out of it. Two hitter funk, and if nothing else, get out of this inning with 1 run.
Hastings Millage has been aggressive early in the count, but he's flied out twice to center field. And Derek falls behind him 1-0. Millage has been at his best with runners on base. And 1 man in scoring position here. To short, might be 2. Escobar to Prado. The gloss.
That's what we're talking about.
Martin hung in there, got knocked down by Domet, but he got rid of the baseball in time. 6-4-3, 2 out.
Right here's a good sinker. Even though it's out in the middle of the plate, it had action. And just what Roger hopefully told him when he came out there, let's go. Bury it in the middle, get a ground ball, we can get a double play, and change the mind of Bobby to say, after this inning, relievers, sit down. Good pitch.
It was a good pitch and good result. Jeff Clements 0 for 2. He struck out and grounded out. And just 2 for 28 with runners in scoring position this year. Why don't starting pitchers, when they get a runner at third and 2 out, go back to the windup?
It's all based on comfort. And, you know, I certainly, every chance I could, I wanted to be out of the windup. And
but you pretty much worked out of the stretch with the runner at third, didn't you? Or not?
Not with 2 outs.
No.
Well, less than that I would, but not with 2 outs.
Up the middle, but Escobar had him played there. Perfectly positioned, and Derek Lowe gets out of the jam. First and second, nobody out, but the Pirates don't score, and we go to the 7th inning stretch, 7-1 Atlanta. John, where in the world do you get your jokes? This guy's an aspiring comedian. So
well,
he's trying to get a tip.
Well, tonight, obviously, Chuck Dowdle.
Uh-huh.
And
for those of you who don't know, Chuck's longtime sportscaster here in Atlanta, recently retired after, what was it, 65 years at WSB?
Yeah. Jeff Foxworthy and I trade a lot of jokes. We do. Yeah, Hal, we do. And then I steal some from my kids. But it's just a knack. It's just a gift.
Yeah.
Some people have it.
You know, you're looking for it.
Still looking for it. You asked me a question about pitching out of the windup last inning. And of all the years that I pitched, last year was the most incredible feeling I've ever had when I was coming back and I was pitching for Boston against the Nationals. We watched this.
Cabrera flares one to left, caught by Millage, 1 out.
And I got in a situation with 2 outs and a runner on third, and I went naturally to the windup, and I promise you I had no idea what to do with my feet. I thought I was going to balk. I started in this like praying mantis position. I was completely out of sorts. And as Veritek came out, he said, you know, trying to get me to relax. I said, I don't know what I'm doing. For whatever reason, I have lost all feeling in my legs of where to put them. And so I went back to the stretch.
David Ross looking for another hit. He's going to get one. A little Ric Flair to right.
That's the first time I can say the nerves got the best of me to where I really did not know what to do and where to put the weight on my feet as I was standing on the mound.
Was this your first appearance for Boston?
First appearance.
Oh, my.
And I've been waiting, you know, a long time to get there. And, man, it just was the worst feeling I'd ever had. And so I went to the stretch.
Galima's lost the feeling in his legs and feet several times, but not for that reason. Nate McLeod would like to atone for his 3 strikeouts right here. How's that one back just above us?
Still waiting for that first one.
Hang in there, it'll come.
Man.
Now, you mentioned the nervousness. Billy Wagner talked about you to me just last night. So about how he gets, when the 7th inning rolls around in a close ball game, he starts getting a little antsy and checking to see who's coming up and all the various possibilities. And he said, I used to think that I was the only closer type guy that really got nervous every time. He said until an All-Star game, and he said he was sitting in the dugout in the bullpen with you and another closer. Might have been
Gagne.
Oh, Eric Gagne. That's exactly who it was. Nate to right field, but Garrett Jones has a beat on that. 2 out, and Brooks Conrad is going to hit for Derek Lowe. He pitched himself a good ball game. But to finish the story, he said, I look over, and he said, Smoltz really made me feel good without saying a word, because I look over and he's chewing on his fingernails late in the game.
I was nervous, man. It was my first year as a closer, and here I am. They told me I was going to pitch the 9th, and of course that's the whole, I think it started when winning the game, well, I know winning the game got you home field advantage. So the most nervous I've ever been was for somebody else, was for Hoffman. When he gets ready, he only has like 8 pitches. And I kept thinking, oh my gosh, he's not ready. He's not going to get ready in time. And here's a guy who's been doing it for years. But yeah, get a little anxious, butterflies, and then once you get on the mound, everything's good.
Brooks Conrad gets a good hand as he comes to the plate. First at bat since his heroics here against Cincinnati. 4 for 17 as a pinch hitter, including that grand slam.
Nothing could have taken me more nervous than my first All-Star appearance, and that was Tommy Lasorda was the manager. I was supposed to pitch second behind Big Daddy Russell. We were in Anaheim. I'd never been there, and I wanted to go to the dugout. Nobody wanted, or the bullpen, and you had to go way out in left field before they redid it. Nobody would take me there. So they said right after the first, we want to watch the top of the first, and we'll take you down there. Well, the top of the first, Rick Russell did not do very well. And he gave up a couple homers and a couple hits, and Tommy Lasorda went to the bullpen phone and said, get Smoltz up. And I'm right there in the dugout. He looked over, he goes, oh no. And I had to run in the tunnel and get there in 8 warm-up pitches. I was in my first All-Star game in the 2nd inning.
To first, but foul.
And everything that everybody told me, Clarence Jones, the hitting coach, everyone said, don't throw first pitch fastball when you get in there. The guys are geared up. Everything they told me, all was forgotten as I walked from the bullpen. And I was rushed into the game, faced Ruben Sierra, first pitch fastball, base hit. Then I had the 1st and 3rd, routine ground ball by Bo Jackson. 1 out, 1st and 3rd, he beat it out. And I got the loss. Youngest guy to ever get the loss, and Nolan Ryan got the win, the oldest guy to ever get the win.
Hang with them.
Hang with them.
Struck him out. Good work again by Steven Jackson. Pitches around the flare hit by David Ross. We've played 7. Braves up by 6. As a Central Division rivalry cooks up, the Cardinals head to Wrigley Field to face the Chicago Cubs. Brian Anderson and Buck Martinez will have the call. That's 2:15 Eastern Time this Sunday on TBS. A lot going on in Chicago this weekend with the hockey Stanley Cup playoffs cranking up tomorrow night. And Cardinals and Cubs over the weekend. That's kind of crazy for Memorial Day.
Good pitching matchup, too. Wainwright, Dempster, looks like. Wainwright having another great start to a year, finishing off of last year's great campaign.
Yeah, he's pitching great. He's just not getting any runs to work with. Bobby Crosby leads off against Eric O'Flaherty, who enters the fray in relief of Derek Lowe. Derek was terrific tonight. 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. And in line for his 7th win. Eric pitched last night, gave up an unearned run in a third of an inning at Florida.
Bullpens these days are having to pitch more and more than ever, probably in the history of the game.
Line shot, base hit by Crosby.
There's just not many complete games being thrown anymore, and you know, for the Braves and to be successful, obviously it's a whole 162 games. You got to keep guys fresh. And if the starters could start picking up some innings and spots, it helps.
Andy LaRoche, Adams' little brother, will pinch hit here for Steven Jackson, who did a very good job in relief of Zach Duke. Jackson worked an inning in 2/3, gave up 1 hit, struck out 1, struck out 2. LaRoche at 256, 3 homers, 10 RBIs. His first pinch hit appearance of the year. And rockets one into left center. That's going to roll a while. Crosby's around second. He's going to be waved home and will score easily. And Andy LaRoche with an RBI pinch hit double. And it's 7-2. That ball was scalded.
Right over the middle of the plate. Split the outfielders.
The 11th RBI of the year for Andy LaRoche, and Iwamura steps in. He's 0 for 3. 2 comebackers to the mound, and a nice play by Prado on him back in the 6th inning. He is working on a 5-game hitting streak, but his average really has taken a hit because of that long slump he was in that the Braves saw him when they first saw him last weekend. He was 0 for 32.
You know, if you're the Pirates, we mentioned they've been outscored 120 more runs. And you look down their breakdown in innings, there's not many innings you're going to score more than the opponents. And right now, the 1st and 9th inning, not counting the extra innings, are the only innings that they've actually scored more than their opponents.
If they can stay close, they have a good record.
Right.
They're 15-7 in games decided by 2 runs or less, and that's the best record in the major leagues in that category. Iwamura is practically tap dancing in the batter's box. He's moving around so much, and he's in the hole 0-2. And worst run differential, the Pirates have that, and no one really close to them, even 2 teams that are in last place, the Astros and Orioles.
And, you know, with the limited wins, they're 14-0 when they lead after 8. I mean, that's.
Dotel's perfect this month. I think he's 7 for 7 in saves. Iwamura got a piece of that breaking ball to stay alive. 2-2. Milwaukee got on the board late and beat the Mets 2-0. slowed New York down and snapped their winning streak. Full count now to Iwamura. Mets had won 5 in a row, but they go on the road and they're 6-15 on the road now. Nobody out, a runner at second. A run in for the Pirates here in the 8th. To short. Escobar quickly to first. One out. Runner moves to third. And Neil Walker will be the batter. He's hit the ball hard a couple of times. He doubled in the 4th and hit a knuckleball line drive that handcuffed Prado in the 6th. And Martin was charged with an error. First at bat right-handed since he's been called up. Everything had been left-handed for the switch hitter. And another hard hit ball for him. That one will make it all the way to the wall. And he drives in his second major league run, and he's got his second double of the night. And he's been very impressive tonight.
Well, unfortunately, this is a product of a lot of things. You know, you mentioned he pitched last night. His fastball's not as sharp. And he's been so good all year that this one little blip, fortunately, is in a game where he can afford it. But no pitcher likes to go out there and have to give up runs. He's going to have to be a little bit crisper with his stuff to limit the damage for the rest of this inning.
Pirates are making a game of it at 7-3, and McCutchen steps in 1 for 3 tonight.
And again, not to belabor the point, that's why it's so important, you know, to eke out another inning, to pitch those innings, to save these kind of innings for bullpens goes a long way. I know it doesn't seem like much when you think, oh gosh, it's just one inning. Well, he's had to pitch a lot of one innings in a lot of different days. These guys have to sit around all day, get ready to pitch, and it's an important role for them.
And the guy who's normally in the 8th inning role is Takashi Saito, and he worked an inning plus last night, worked an inning and 2/3.
You got Peter Moylan doing the same thing, pitching back to back, had to rescue that win. And all of a sudden the strike zone disappeared. 2-0 pitch was down the middle, and that one must have been a little off the plate. This is going to be a little bit of stalling right here.
Roger McDowell again to the mound as Vinners joins Jesse Chavez in the bullpen. Vinners was very impressive last night. He worked an inning, had a 1-2-3 6th, struck out 2.
Speaking of stalling, Mr. Meyer was not very happy with the Yankees, what they did the other night. It was the conclusion of a doubleheader, and Andy Pettitte went out for the 9th, warmed up, getting ready to pitch, to give Mr. Mariano Rivera a little extra time, and then here comes the manager, and he didn't take too kindly to that form of tactics. Wasn't happy. Yankees went out to win.
Might beat 2. Escobar will handle it himself, and it only takes O'Flaherty 1 pitch to get out of that jam, but he does give up a couple of runs on 3 hits. And we go to the bottom of the 8th. It's now a 7-3 ball game. His indescribably good play of the game, and it came early tonight. Bottom of the first inning, bases loaded, 2 out, and David Ross comes through with a bases clearing double. That's taken the Braves to a 4-0 lead. They lead now 7-3. Get ready for ice cold bliss with new Zaxby's milkshakes.
Just showed a little no-hitter by one of our minor leaguers. Was it Todd Redmond?
In Gwinnett.
9-inning no-hitter, 3 strikeouts.
Good for him. He is a guy, if you look at his numbers in the minor leagues, he doesn't walk anybody. He makes them put the ball in play, and has had good numbers throughout the minor leagues. So good for him. Congratulations to Todd. Veteran Joel Hanrahan comes in to work the 8th for Pittsburgh. His job quite simple. Hold him right there after the Pirates have gotten within 4. Top of the order for Atlanta. Hanrahan throws hard. 29 strikeouts in 18 innings, as you saw. Spent some time with the Nationals. Actually was a closer for a time with them. Martins had a big night again, 3 for 4. He scored twice. 97 on that last pitch from Hanrahan. Martins 6 for his last 8, going back to last night's game. Fights that one off into left center field, but Millage races over and makes the catch to rob him of another hit. And Jason Hayward will be the batter. He has singled in each of his last 2 at bats. 2 for 3 with a walk tonight.
Well, Joe, how do you think, speaking of young guys that are going to be coming up and making a splash, Strasburg's going to do for the Nationals? Going to be coming up here pretty soon.
I think it's great. I wish he was here already, but I think it's great for this division. I think it's great for the National League and baseball. Big cut and a miss by Hayward. I think he'll do well.
Yeah, I do too.
I mean, I'm placing a lot of confidence in that statement on what I heard from Tony Gwynn when I saw him out in San Diego and the rave reviews he got him as his former college coach. Plus his results have been darn good too.
Yeah, the only thing that, again, to each their own, that I don't like is they're not stretching him out to the point where, for whatever reason, his last game was only 52 pitches. I don't see how 52 pitches is going to do much for you in AAA.
That pitch hit Jason, and he'll trot to first. I'm not sure where it got him, but again, when you're throwing 96, 97 like Hanrahan, doesn't matter where it hits you, it hurts. Got him on the shin.
This could very well be the year of the pitcher. You know, Jimenez coming out with an incredible start. Wonder if he'll make the All-Star team.
He's got a good shot.
But then you see guys in the past, like, got a stat here. Gibson, first 10 starts, he was 3-5 with a 1.52. Jimenez, of course, 9-1 with a 0.88. And then somebody told Mr. Gibson to turn it on, because in the next 12 he went 12-0, 0.5 ERA with 12 complete games
and 8 shutouts.
Yeah.
That's getting your year turned around. Chipper's in the hole 0-2. He's 2 for 4 tonight with 3 RBIs. His first game with 3 or more RBIs for the year.
No one will ever touch that record, ever.
For Gibson?
Ever. Earned run average, that was ridiculous.
I always appreciated that great year he had, but I never knew about that 12-game stretch where he had 12 complete games and 8 shutouts.
Well, what?
And what? I think the first run was a wild pitch.
Yeah, after
5 shutouts in a row. Then a wild pitch allowed a run to score, and then he threw 3 more shutouts. Look out. Hanrahan throws it about 95, just throwing to first.
But what Ubaldo's doing in Colorado is mirroring. I mean, that's phenomenal stuff in Colorado. People don't know how hard it is to pitch there.
Good backdoor breaking ball. Chipper knew it. Strikeout for Hanrahan. 2 out for Troy Gloss. Now in the past, Hanrahan's always struck me as just a thrower, not a pitcher, but he looks sharp tonight. Even having said that, knowing that he hit Hayward with a pitch, that was a good backdoor breaking pitch.
Yeah, as hard as he throws, if he gets anything over other than a fastball, it's gonna be awfully tough to square him up.
Ooh, caught him leaning, but Clement not able to hang on to the throw over.
Ooh, hit him again. These are the kind of trades, though, that have to work for Pittsburgh. They got lasting millage and Joel Hanrahan for Sean Burnett and Niger Morgan.
Can't find home plate when he's throwing to first. Throws that one away and puts a runner in scoring position for Troy Gloss. He charged that to Clement, however, and they do. E3 couldn't handle. He's a former catcher, backup catcher, and couldn't handle that hard sinker over there. The stoic John Russell trying to bite his lip. Gloss gave the Braves their first run tonight, an RBI single in the first. He's 1 for 4. .98 on that last pitch. Despite spending virtually all of his career in the American League, Troy Gloss did play in Atlanta Fulton County Stadium and not in interleague play. He was on the '96 Olympic team.
How did we do that year?
Bronze medal.
Bronze.
He was telling me about it a couple of nights ago, about how in the round robin play, the U.S. team beat everybody but Cuba, but the way it was set up, the first seed, Cuba played the 4th seed, and number 2 played 3, so the U.S. had to play Japan, who they had already defeated once, but lost to Japan in that semifinal game, and then won the bronze medal game. Another good breaking ball froze Troy. 2 strikeouts for Hanrahan. We go to the 9th. Doman, Millage, and Clement due up for the Pirates.
Braves. Tuesday at 7 on Peachtree TV.
Here in the ninth, 7-3 lead for the Braves. Fans, here's a reminder to stay tuned after the game for the AT game summary. AT&T, rethink possible.
And a couple of changes for the Braves defensively as we go to the ninth. Omar Infante will check in and play third base. He'll bat in the 9 spot. And now pitching and batting in the 3 hole will be Johnny Venners, who gets his first opportunity to finish a ball game. Venners, no record, a 1 ERA. He's given up 2 earned runs in 18 innings. He struck out 15, walked 11, and had a very good inning last night. Domet will switch around and bat right-handed, then Millage and Clement. Mr. Venners can rush up some mid-90s fastballs too. 95 on that one. Count even 1-1. 7-3 Atlanta. Braves led 5-0 after 2. 5-1 after 5. Braves had a couple of insurance runs in the 6th. Funny swing from Domet. 1-2 the count, and as if on cue, it starts to rain. In the air to right center, slicing away from McLeod on the run. Nate tracks it down. Good catch. One out.
Despite maybe his average not being where he wanted, it hasn't affected his defense as he gets a great jump and runs this down. Yeah. I'm going to be interested to see with Johnny Venners how it plays out in his career. I mean, a lot of starts. Been a starter, thrown a lot of innings. Got a great arm for this current time frame. Needed out of the bullpen.
Well, a lot of guys have to serve a bit of an apprenticeship, but he is certainly capable of starting. And man, those drops are getting bigger. 0-2 to Millage. It was raining hard last night down in Florida, John, as hard as I've ever seen it, with the game still going on. And Tim Hudson did a great job of getting out of trouble in the 4th in that rain. Foul tip not held by Ross. That got a piece of David.
Well, this is helping my lawn because I got it plugged. I had to punch the whole lawn.
Oh, man, it is coming on down now.
That is if it got north of here. Oh, come on.
Backdoor slider missed.
Nobody would have got mad.
No.
You'd have called that.
The integrity of the game important to Phil Cousy, though.
I'll tell you what also is important. This bag's going to fill up with a lot of water above Hal if we this game goes much longer.
That water balloon's getting mighty heavy above him. Full count.
Come on. Oh, the ball's getting wet.
Yep.
Oh, no.
And Phil's going to have to do something here, and Brian O'Nora says, bring it out, boys.
Aye, aye, aye.
1 out in the 9th, and we got a rain delay. And I mean, it is raining. Ed Mangan and his crew are outstanding at getting that tarp down quickly. The one thing they got to get out even faster is that are those tarps over home plate and the mound.
Good thing for it. It is a night game tomorrow, right?
It is.
As a player right now, you don't mind getting home a little late, winning this game, getting some more rest.
and we have endured another hour rain delay. Johnny Venters is back out on the mound warming up. Looks like he's going to stay in the game to try to finish it. When we left you, we were in the 9th inning. Braves with a 7-3 lead, 1 out, and Millage had just drawn a walk, and he will be at first base. Jeff Clement is the batter due up, and Bobby Crosby behind him.
Oh, this is not the second game of the doubleheader?
No, this is not.
I was going to tell another joke. I'm glad you told me that.
Well, it is a new day.
It is a new day.
Well, tip of the cap to Ed Mangan and his guys, because, number one, they couldn't use the spreading machine to spread the drying agent on the field to dry up some of those really, really wet spots. So they had to do it all by hand, and they've re-chalked the field. They've made it in great playing condition given the amount of rain that's fallen on this field tonight. And the Braves have 2 outs to get to wrap this one up. A game that was supposed to start at 7:35 started at around 9 o'clock. And now a rain delay, another rain delay in the 9th inning of over an hour has made it for a long night. After a very short night for the Braves, who arrived here at around 3 o'clock in the morning Friday morning. So here we go. Clement will be the batter. Venters stays in the game, and Millage is the runner at first. And there's a strike. You a little surprised to see Venters still in there or not?
Not really. Only threw a couple batters and save yourself a potential another pitcher to have to get ready. And like I said before, if you could save Wagner, that'd be great. You don't really want to have to bring him in after he pitched last night in a non-save situation.
0-2 to Clement. Struck him out. 2 down in the 9th. And Bobby Crosby, the last hope for the Pirates. Braves got 4 in the first, 1 in the second. Pirates got a run in the 4th, made it 5-1. Chipper Jones drove in 2 runs in the 6th to make it 7-1, and then the Pirates got 2 in the 8th. Crosby takes low. Millage is off to the races, but it'll be defensive indifference. He'll be at second with 2 out. Braves up by 4 and have had to wait a long time to earn this one. Need 1 more out. 2-1. The Phillies won tonight, snapping their losing streak. They beat Florida. The Mets lost to Milwaukee 2-0. Washington, trying to polish off San Diego, leads 5-3 in the 9th. 2-2 now to Crosby. Some hardy souls have stuck this out tonight. They're on their feet, and they get rewarded with a strikeout from Venters to end the ball game. Well, you wait as long as you have to wait for a win, right, John?
Yeah, you sure do. And Braves take the first game of the series and hopefully get home, get a little rest. It's a big weekend.
Everybody will sleep in tonight.
Yep.
7-3 your final. Back with more right after this.